because a race without a seed barrier there's no existence. And the more you grow up, you realize that we are all so different in so many ways, and we all need acceptance. I had my fair share of troubles, being very dark and being not so good looking, and when you grow up in a space where everyone has to find something about you that they can point out, they will point that out and it becomes an issue. But then I realized that slavery mentality, and it comes from many, many years of being a damaged race and an extremely depressed race. And if you look at the sun, you look at the nature, and you look at everything, how it exists, you realize that everyone deserves to be exactly where they are. You look at the birds, you look at the trees, you look at the sea, you look at the sun, you look at the soil, you look at everything. It's all so connected for its existence. So every single human being deserves to be alive and to be where they are. So I wanted to tell stories because it set me free from the level of depression that I grew up with. And I fought very hard, fought extremely hard for it to happen. And I wanted it to happen to other people as well. But I didn't know how was it going to happen. So sometimes when I'm lit, I will share. So I shared this with the gentleman from here. He came to the set of Great Desire. How I wanted to create a program where I could teach people the basics of storytelling and learn how to monetize it as well, because this is a business. Okay, it's business. It makes people shit out of money. It makes them look well, makes them smell good. It makes them famous. It does everything, but more than anything, it touches the heart. And that was 2017, and we've been talking about it once in a while, and there was a woman who heard about it. And 2021 it's happening. So that is why it's extremely emotional for me to be here today, and I had to honor this to be here. And what is happening goes the right way and the best way. If you want to be the one that does it all, it's going to crash. Because while you're trying to find the other things, it's going to lose the direction and then it'll crash. So being a director, it's not... It's got absolutely nothing to do with that, because the second it's that it'll never go anywhere. How do you dissect a story as a director?
Hello.
Yeah.
So, sometimes I'd see something and then it inspires me, then already I'm making a story out of it.
Yeah.
But just that because I'm multi-talented.
Say that again. What you what? You see?
I see something,
yeah,
and then I get inspired by it, and
yeah,
then I make a story, but it's going to be complicated in my head, and then everything just goes, and I'm like, ooh.
That's how you dissect the story. What are you trying to say? That's how you dissect the story. First of all, so it's quite important that as a creator, if you're going to be a producer, you make sure that you become a creative producer. Your other executive producer is the person that understands the money, because they will make sure that you make more money out of it. And if you don't do that, then you're in trouble. Then after that, a line producer hires a production manager. A production manager's job is to shout at everyone. Shout at everyone, say no to everything, and they go check with the line producer. So they deal with the schedule. They deal with making sure all the departments on set get everything they need. They work with the line producer in terms of hiring the crew and making sure they're contracted, and all the law nitty-gritties are taken care of, and making sure that the production functions to its best capability. Then a line producer, with the producer, they hire a director. In South Africa, most of the time when they hire the director, they want a director that's fast. That's gonna shoot. That's gonna save time. Yeah, that's gonna save time, and also shoot watchable things. Or, you know, Chad's out, shoot a director that's amazing. Yeah. Directors that are amazing. You know, but other productions, they want someone that's quick and is gonna shoot them stuff, you know, highly watchable, and save them money. Shoot 25 pages a day. And yeah, that's why some of them become alcoholics and other things because it's gonna finish the day, you know. And then they hire a DOP, a director of photography, not a cameraman, a DOP. Then the director of photography will hire a camera operator, and a camera operator will hire focus pullers. Yeah, focus pullers. Then you'll have camera assistants. Usually there's 1 or 2, and then they will have a VT operator. Okay. Under the director's department, the director will have the first assistant director. The first assistant director deals with the schedule. And the schedule is either done by him, or there's another assistant director who's called a scheduler. So they usually work hand in hand. Usually, most of the time on drama series or soapies and telenovelas, you have the first AD that's on set, and you've got a first AD that's scheduling. They call schedulers, so that the first AD gets given the schedule that's been done by the scheduler, and then he's got to make sure that it works. You don't find that on feature films. The first AD does the scheduling himself. The set looks exactly the way it's meant to be. Or under props, props master, there's a props standby. They are always in set just to make sure if the person is holding a glass, they hold it the same way. If it's meant to be look like it's freezing, that you have, and make sure that it looks as amazing as it needs to be, you know. And sometimes you have to break down the costume. Breaking down means if the t-shirt is like this, but you've got to make it old, you know. They dye it into everything that needs to happen. And then sometimes they've got seamstresses who would, like Lindy would, her stuff, you know, comes from different designers, you know, so she goes and finds different designers that can create stuff that Lindy wear and the family, you know. But it's going to be made possible. And it's shooting quality stuff, stuff that's cinema, not stuff that can go to TV. If it's well shot, it's well thought, it can be done. Could be done next month. As long as, hey, this one's with the pen. This one's with the emails. Yeah, just, with the content. And it happens. You know, you've got Akiti, guitar. You know, I mean, what else? You showed off nothing. You showed off nothing. You short of nothing, because the greatness is within. You know, the greatness is right here. You don't have to go anywhere. It's here. You don't have to go to Joburg. You can recreate the money. The gold is right here. The people travel from outside to Africa to come mine the gold. The gold was here, and it's here. You know what I'm saying? This is the wish of what I want to see, and then the actor is going to give it that. If you can go watch the documentary between Christopher Nolan and Heath Ledger, they spend time talking about the Joker. How they wanted the Joker to come out. There was a conversation over a few months, like over and over and over and over. Him wanting Morgan Freeman to come and be on Batman took a while. He had to go to his house. He said he gave him a script and he sat downstairs and waited for him to read it and finish it. And he didn't give him an answer until he showed up on set. No. And they started reading together. You're collaborating with them. And then after that, you've got the script. You and the script needs to be friends, because you're asking the script the questions and the answers are right there. That's why when I do the episodes on the show, I read it about 4 times, not because English takes me time. And then I read it for the second time. I'm like, oh. And then the third time, the fourth time, then I've done everything that I need to do. You need to fall in love with the script, because you need to be able to dissect it and know exactly what story you're trying to tell, from the beginning all the way to the end of the episode. From the beginning of the scene to the end of the scene, because all of those have their own arcs that come together, then they create a full story. So you, as a director, you've got to be able to see that and be able to break it down to make sense. You're actually the bottom of everyone, because you've got to listen to everything that you are told for you to be able to put everything together. Because if you decide on your own, you will lose the story, and then you're not needed. They need someone else to do the job. So for me, I stick to the script to the core, and the actors, I allow them the freedom of able to play with what they're given, but within what we are supposed to tell, the story that we need to tell for the executive producers. The wardrobe department says they don't have budget for what you're asking for, it's not going to work, or makeup saying this and that. We've got to be able to work with them, we've got to understand where they're coming from, because they are knowledgeable on that department. It's their responsibility. So every department that you're working with on set, you've got to be able to work with them. And more than anything, you've got to be able to inspire them. Because sometimes they get tired and they don't want, you've got to push them back in. Like, you've got to be the doormat that everybody steps on, but at the same time, the doormat that lifts everybody. It's your responsibility as a director. You've got to be able to work with the music department when you're creating a scene, and you've got to get into their head so that when they're creating the music, that is just so beautiful. Same as post-production, you know, when you're on set, you've got to shoot the things that you want to see on camera. If you do not do that, then you're wasting their time, because they can't put together things that does not work.